Tēnā tātou katoa, good evening. One of the final hurdles in forming a government is shaping up as a battle of size versus experience.
David Seymour publicly made his case to be Deputy Prime Minister today, saying his party's share of the vote should get him the job.
But there was no word from the parliamentary veteran who's already done it twice before. Political reporter Amelia Wade has the latest.
Spotted out in Epsom, the local MP helping one of his flock in a spot of bother.
Here to visit a constituent in the Epsom electorate. He's having some challenges with a negotiation he's involved in, and I found I could actually be quite helpful.
Christopher Luxon's had some challenges all right.
There's massive urgency from my side and from their side as well.
Though it genuinely really does now actually seem like the threesome is close.
We've just got to dot some I's and cross some T's on most of the agreement. The only outstanding issues are now ministerial responsibilities.
They're now deciding who gets what seat at the cabinet table and how many.
Proportionality is important to democracy, it's important to the people. Every person out there, their vote counts the same, and so should their representation.
Dividing a 20-person cabinet up proportionally by the election result and using some Swedish rounding, the National Party would get 14.3 ministers, ACT 3.3 and NZ First 2.4. But of course you can't have a minister split three ways.
What's important to me is that I want to use the talent that's across all three parties to make sure the skills, abilities and experiences are being well utilised.
But a government led by which leadership peering, the Deputy PM role now in play?
If there's a second role in the government, that should go to the second party.
That does sound like you want to be Deputy Prime Minister, or that act should be you.
Look, I think that there's a clear case for that to happen.
Peters is without a doubt the most experienced of the bunch, having played Deputy PM twice before.
Mr Peters, what matters more for being a Deputy Prime Minister? Proportionality or your experience?
We think that maths matters and that the people's votes should be represented in some sort of proportional way.
What matters more to you, the experience of Winston Peters or the maths of David Seymour?
Again, just not going to get into it.
If Christopher Luxon does go with David Seymour as Deputy PM, that would make for the most inexperienced leadership duo in our near 30-year MMP history, with neither Luxon nor Seymour ever having been in Cabinet before.
I mean, it's largely a ceremonial role. It's there to lecture. There's a lot of talk about it, but it's a ceremonial role to actually fill in for when I'm incapacitated, away, or not in the House.
A role which does actually matter, which the Nats are clearly willing to give away.
Are you the next Deputy Prime Minister?
Hey, have a great day, let's go.
I could start giving really excruciating detail, but I know if I did that you'd just ask me more questions. I know how you operate at Newshub. You're just news hounds.
Sniff, sniff, it smells like a deal might be close. Amelia Wade, Newshub.
Well, our political editor, Jenna Lynch, joins us now. Jenna, what is left to do here and how long until they get this thing across the line?
Yeah, a couple of updates today. One is that having seen each other's deals, New Zealand First and ACT have now agreed to the policy programs of either party to the niggly issue of how to work together, or more crucially, how to disagree about issues that might arise outside of those coalition agreements has been sorted as well. So all that is left on the table is the ultimate cabinet reshuffle, the haggling over positions. Luxon was very clever to make it clear that that was the only thing left on the table, because if the other two draw things out any further, it looks like they're just after the baubles of office. Both Seymour and Peters have some sort of claim to lay to that deputy role, but they'll also be looking for roles in, both of them fought hard in the economic space and the justice space during the election campaign, so they'll be looking for roles probably in those spaces to stamp their party colours on ahead of the next election. The next 24 hours is seeming unlikely from all quarters at this point. It sounds like more Thursday at this point. That might be a case of expectation management after a few failed targets. But if we push any further past this week, something has obviously gone terribly wrong.
Jenna, tēnā koe.